is a global alert. A mysterious phenomenon is causing rapid human shrinking. We advise. Wait, what is this? I think I'm shrinking.
What if you started shrinking right now? Not metaphorically, not in a dream. Literally, your entire body collapsing in on itself, shrinking 1 centimeter every second. Within half a minute, your clothes hang off you like wet sails. Within a minute, the world towers above you like a cathedral. You try to scream, but the sound that escapes is alien thin, high metallic. Your vocal cords have shortened, your pitch has doubled. Even your own voice betrays you. Your inner ear spins desperate to find balance in a body that's no longer the same shape. Gravity feels wrong. The floor feels farther away. The air feels heavier and thicker, like syrup pressing against your skin. You reach for the table, but your hands no longer reach. This isn't a fantasy. It's a full-scale collapse of reality itself. Because when you change scale, you don't just get smaller, you rewrite the laws that make the world make sense. So what really happens if you begin to shrink 1 centimeter per second and reality can't keep up with you? The first few moments of your transformation feel like vertigo, given physical form. Your brain, which has always trusted gravity to behave, suddenly can't agree with your body. You feel lighter, not just in weight, but in presence, as if the world is quietly erasing you pixel by pixel. Physics begins its silent rebellion. The law that decides what your body can or cannot do has turned against you, the square cube law. When your height drops by half, your surface area only drops to a quarter, but your volume collapses to 1/8. The result is cruel. You lose heat much faster than you can make it. Your body starts to cool like a dying engine. Every breath a smaller puff of steam in an endless winter. Within minutes, your teeth chatter uncontrollably. Your body shivers so fast it almost hums. But then something stranger happens. You feel powerful. Your legs no longer struggle to lift your weight. The ratio of strength to mass is shifting in your favor. You jump, and for a second it feels like flying. The same muscles that once lifted your body by inches now launch you by feet. For a brief, intoxicating moment, you think you might survive this. You even laugh, hearing that eerie, chipmunk-like sound echo back. Then the illusion breaks. The air feels thicker. Moving your arms is like wading through honey. Every breath meets resistance, not because you are tired, but because the air itself has changed. What once felt like nothing now pushes back. You stumble forward, and your own sweat clings to your skin like glue. The balance between surface area and resistance has flipped. You are no longer moving through the world. The world is pressing against you. Your voice, still rising in pitch, becomes impossible to control. You shout for help, but it's not English anymore. It's a vibration, a high-pitched buzz that even you can't recognize as human. You can hear more. 2 tiny sounds you never noticed before. The hum of electricity in the walls, the flutter of dust against the floor, even the pulse in your own veins. Then comes the cold realization. You are shrinking faster than your mind can adapt. The body you know is becoming alien. Your fingers are shaking, not just from fear, but from a loss of proportion. You stare at them, smaller every second. And for the first time, you understand what true disconnection feels like, the moment when your body is no longer yours. Hours have passed, or maybe only minutes. Time itself has lost scale, just like everything else. You're now small enough to stand beside the leg of a chair and feel it tower like a skyscraper. The air no longer feels invisible. It clings to you, thick and resistant, as if you're moving underwater. Every step takes effort. Every breath drags against your lungs. You've crossed the threshold where human physics begins to fail. At this size, the rules of motion are rewritten. The number that controls how objects move through fluids, the Reynolds number, has dropped to the realm of insects. You no longer glide through air. You push against it. Your movement has to be deliberate, almost swimming. Falling feels slower, but stopping feels impossible. The invisible world of viscosity now owns you. Water, once harmless, has turned predatory. A single drop on the counter is a shimmering dome larger than your body. A wall of liquid bound tight by surface tension. You reach out, and the surface stretches like a rubber sheet before swallowing your arm whole. The force that used to let you splash now traps you in place. For a creature your size, breaking through that shimmering barrier takes more energy than you have. If you slip, even a raindrop could drown you. Sound becomes strange too. The rumble of distant traffic turns into a deep vibration felt more than heard. But new sounds appear in its place sharp. High frequencies that used to live beyond your ears. You hear the wings of a fly slicing the air, the ultrasonic squeaks of mice beneath the floor, the electric whine of a light bulb. The world is suddenly crowded with noise, but none of it belongs to you anymore. Your senses are failing, but in their place comes something else, awareness stripped to its rawest form. You no longer hear or see the world in the human sense. You feel patterns of energy instead, the pulsing of molecular bonds, the faint thrum of atoms vibrating in a lattice, the magnetic whisper of electrons spinning in fields of probability. Every collision is a flash of existence. Every moment of stillness is the breath between universes. Then, motion becomes unpredictable. You're small enough that the air molecules themselves are enormous compared to you, and they never stop colliding. One moment you're still, the next you're thrown sideways by a random impact. It feels like being trapped inside an invisible storm made of heat. You try to stand upright, but every second billions of unseen particles hammer against you from every direction. This is Brownian motion, the chaotic ballet of molecules that once made the air feel smooth. Now it's a constant barrage. Vision begins to fail first. Light, which once revealed everything, now betrays you. The wavelengths that define color and form have become too large to reflect cleanly from your body. Photons bend around you instead of bouncing off, like waves flowing around a post in the sea. The world fades into a mist of overlapping halos. There are no longer objects, only vibrations of brightness and shadow. What you see are not things, but interference patterns. The boundaries of matter blur into a soft fog of probability. The world around you dissolves into blur. Shapes lose their edges. Light no longer obeys your expectations. You've crossed beneath the human threshold of sight somewhere below 1/10 of a millimeter. Your body is now smaller than a grain of sand. Everything familiar has vanished, replaced by a landscape that defies meaning. In this new scale, survival isn't about dominance anymore. It's about not being noticed. And that's when it hits you. The collapse isn't just physical, it's social. You've fallen off the pyramid of life. The tools, the language, the confidence that once defined humanity no longer mean anything. You can't open a door. You can't be heard. You can't even be seen. The idea of being human is slipping away, replaced by something smaller, something primitive, something afraid. You start to realize that you've become part of someone else's ecosystem. The tiny hairs on your arm rise when a shadow moves across the carpet. It's the family cat. But now it's a mountain of fur and muscle. One paw step lands like an earthquake. The creature doesn't see you. It only senses motion. You freeze. Breath held. While every instinct inside you screams that you are prey. Occasionally, through the haze, immense structures drift by transparent walls with repeating patterns like stained glass. You realize they're cells. Each one is a cathedral of chemistry, alive and breathing. With organelles the size of stadiums, threads of DNA twist and coil above you like cosmic spirals. The boundary between biology and architecture disappears. You are walking through the machinery of life itself. And for the first time, life feels less like a miracle and more like an intricate machine running on blind precision. But awe turns quickly into dread. The temperature fluctuations that once felt trivial now strike like tidal waves. A small rise of heat distorts your shape. A fluctuation in charge pulls you apart at the seams. You no longer control your movement or your form. The boundaries of your body begin to flicker. You can't tell where you end and the world begins. This is not just a journey through size, it's a dismantling of identity. Every sensory thread that once tied your mind to the physical world is snapping. What remains is consciousness, without context, a mind floating in chaos, trying to remember what it meant to be human. You are now smaller than a molecule. The concept of body no longer applies. The atoms that once formed your cells have come undone, their chemical bonds torn apart by forces too vast for your shrinking frame to resist. Carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen each drifts away, stripped of structure, freed from the architecture that once called itself you. At this scale, physics transforms from law into uncertainty. Matter and energy blur together. You no longer move through space. You are space ripples in an ocean of probabilities. The electrons that once orbited your atoms have become smeared clouds of possibility. There is no up, down, before, or after. Every point is a question, and every question answers itself in silence. You try to focus, but focus no longer exists. Observation itself changes reality. When you look, particles appear. When you stop, they vanish. You realize that seeing and existing have become the same act. The universe is no longer outside you, it is you. The observer and the observed have merged into one trembling equation. Then, the last sensation weight dissolves. You have fallen beneath the Planck scale, into the limit where space and time themselves lose meaning. Everything vibrates, fluctuating between existence and nothingness. You are part of the quantum foam, the seething base layer of the universe where creation and annihilation happen faster than thought. This is the true singularity not of gravity, but of identity. There is no light here, no sound, only the pulse of potential. You feel it as a rhythm, a hum that stretches beyond matter, beyond life, beyond consciousness itself. You can no longer say, I exist, because existence has become meaningless. What remains is awareness without a center, a thought echoing inside infinity. And then, even that fades. The wave collapses. The probability resolves. The final fragment of self, the idea of you, folds into the background noise of the cosmos. You have not disappeared. You've simply gone back to where everything begins. It's not death. It's not destruction. It's return. A reunion with the raw, unshaped field that once gave birth to every atom, every star, every thought. In the end, shrinking wasn't just a fall through space. It was a descent through existence itself. Every law, every sensation, every thought peeled away until nothing remained but the truth that reality only makes sense at a very specific scale. Beyond it, the rules change, and so do you. The body dissolved first, then perception, then the idea of self. Yet in that final silence, something beautiful lingered, the realization that you were never separate from the universe at all. You were a pattern, a temporary arrangement of energy and memory, now returned to the endless sea that birthed everything. So if one day you begin to shrink, don't fight it. Watch closely. You won't just see the universe disappear, you'll see it become you. Because at the smallest scale, there's no difference between being and the space that holds it.